This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Tonight on the South Today, the man who allegedly stabbed a handful of people in Countdown in May has pleaded guilty. The Southern District Health Board is pleased to have 90% of the district vaccinated against COVID-19. And the second Dunedin organised charter flight to Australia left from Christchurch today. Tēnā koutou katoa, kia ora, I'm Simon Anderson. The man behind the Countdown supermarket stabbings in Dunedin has pleaded guilty to the frenzied attack in May. His interim name suppression has lapsed and he can finally be named.
42-year-old Luke James Lambert appeared in the High Court at Dunedin this morning by a video link from Invercargill Prison, where he admitted 4 charges of attempted murder. Counsel John Westgate confirmed there was no application for continued name suppression, which had been in force since charges were laid following the shocking incident on May 10 this year, when Lambert walked into Countdown Central about 2:35 p.m. and began stabbing people in the pharmacy aisle with knives he'd taken off the supermarket's shelves. 4 people were seriously injured during the rampage, including one of the supermarket's senior managers. In court today, Lambert was given a first strike warning and will be sentenced in May next year. In Dunedin, the South Today.
The Otago Regional Council says its electric bus trial in October was an overall positive experience. A 35-seater Enviroline bus built by Global Bus Ventures in Ralston was driven on a variety of routes to see how it performed in Dunedin. The ORC says the bus used between 40 to 50% of battery on a full day of service and performed well on hills, mitigating concerns about lack of battery power and range. The ORC and GoBus Transport trialled the bus for a month in Dunedin, testing how EVs might operate on the network. There were celebrations in the south yesterday as the region cracked the COVID-19 90% double vaccination milestone. The Southern District Health Board yesterday became the 5th health board in New Zealand and the 2nd in the South Island to reach the figure.
The man leading the Southern DHB's vaccination rollout is pleased the region has reached 90% vaccination against COVID-19.
So exceptionally proud of all our partners who've worked so tirelessly to get us there. It's phenomenal.
He says pretty much everyone has got in the waka and is generally rowing in the same direction.
Getting over the 90% is fairly and squarely down to our public, to the people of the South, from Oamaru to Rakiora, who have had the courage to want to protect the ones they love.
However, he says their main focus is bringing tangata whenua up from 87% to 90% fully vaccinated.
We need to be very mindful that our most vulnerable population, our Māori population, are not quite at 90 yet, so we've really got to give it a final push. We're close. We've got to do about 65 a day to get there by Christmas. So that's really the big goal now is 90% double vax Māori.
SDHB COVID-19 vaccine rollout program lead Carl Metzer says the southern vaccination drive isn't over yet, as there is still a lot of disinformation around, especially in Māori communities.
My advice would be try and avoid going down the rabbit holes, seek out good, solid information from reliable sources, valid sources, and talk to your mates, talk to your whānau, talk to trusted Māori that you know have the knowledge and the expertise to give you the good information.
He admits it can be scary, but says it's not a time to judge or be divisive, but to sit and chat with people. The Southern DHB is doing slightly better than the national average, as nationwide 88% of the eligible population is fully vaccinated. In Dunedin, the South Today.
Ready to test the public for COVID-19 at the new Dunedin Testing Centre in Malcolm Street yesterday, a swabbers Tuihana Taiaroa Smithies and Junaid Gideon. People can drive through or walk up to the centre to be tested. The centre tested a few people on Monday as a trial run and opened officially yesterday. Ms Tairoa Smithies said after a bit of a morning rush when the site first opened, there had been a steady stream of people throughout the day. The clinic tested 25 people yesterday. There were tears of joy from Australian passengers at Christchurch International Airport today as they boarded a repatriation flight to Brisbane. Some have been stuck in New Zealand for months.
Homeward bound. There were 132 people on today's charter flight. Vincent George Travel offered a series of charter flights after Air New Zealand had cancelled over 1,000 flights in late November due to uncertainty about the borders. Director Roseanne Connolly-George said emotions were running high today.
Hugely exciting day today. So we successfully were able to get a charter out on Friday, quarantine-free, out of Christchurch to Brisbane. This is our overflow now. We couldn't leave other people stranded. We need to get them home. So it's been really emotional, and I've already been greeted by several people crying, just saying, thank you, you're our angel, we can get home, we never thought this would happen. So it's been amazing.
She says the 2 flights weren't a money-making venture, they were more of a humanitarian one, and she has had calls right up into the day before departure.
So we thought, let's get a hold of an airline that's going to come across empty for us from the Tasman, fill it up, get people home at an affordable rate, and it's just been an absolute, so successful. I'm so happy.
She said passengers on the 2 flight were almost evenly split between New Zealanders and Australians.
I've had some people that have been waiting 7 months to take on a job. I've had people who came over for a long weekend and they've been here since April. We've had people who have been wanting to relocate for a very long time, had jobs waiting for them, and they've taken up the post and said, please, we need to get there before Christmas to take that role. People have sold their houses, people have just been caught up in the quarantine-free bubble.
So for now it seems quarantine-free charter flights are the only way to get across the Tasman. In Christchurch, the South Today.
Still to come on the South Today, some good sorts in our communities. Roxburgh firefighters install a very festive structure, and we check out a Waitaki food drive. See you soon.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
It's certainly being on a bike, the frustrations you get when people are behind you, they're impatient, you know, it's only 5 or 10 seconds more out of your day, and when you think about it, we're on a lot longer journey than you are, and just keeping space. It's not hard to give a metre, you know, even if it means waiting a minute or so to pass.
Stuff your stocking!
Excuse me?
Stuff your stocking at My Mate John's with fantastic festive furniture deals. Up to 50% off with huge savings on beds, bedroom, lounge, dining, occasional and tons more. Don't miss this one. Get down to John's and stuff your stocking. Up to 50% off plus pay it off interest free. Only at John's Furniture Warehouse, Stafford Street and online.
Get that furniture from Stafford Street and My Mate John.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
Your love lifted me higher than I've ever been lifted before.
Ngā Manoa, welcome back. On Monday evening, on a windswept hilltop above Roxburgh, 8 firefighters made light work. Almost. As is tradition, the Roxburgh Volunteer Fire Brigade installed Christmas lights above the town. The military-like precision, the firefighters made short work of hoisting the strands of multicoloured bulbs on the top of the lone pole to eventually form a tree. The new LEDs came to life on Tuesday night as there were technical difficulties on Monday. Brigade member Daniel Prue said the annual event was something the brigade looked forward to every year in the lead-up to Christmas. The people of Waitaki have shown they really give a toot for others. On Monday evening, the North Otago Lions Club held its annual Toot for Tucker food drive.
North Otago Lions taking to the streets on their annual Toot for Tucker food drive. The crew were supported by fellow Lions from Oamaru, Whittaker Valley and Waianakarua. Before heading off, the group receives instructions from Toot for Tucker convener Genevieve Hesselwood.
Please only collect from your highlighted area on your map. Drive very slowly, make lots of noise, up one side of the street and down the other.
Emergency services, businesses and community organisations canvass the streets of Oamaru in a host of vehicles, stopping at people's homes to collect non-perishable food donations to give to the Oamaru Church's food bank. North Otago Lions Club Vice President Trish Hinton says there's been great support from the services in town.
And we thank all the people of Oamaru who've made donations for the food bank.
After another tumultuous financial year for many because of COVID-19, the club worried the drive would not get its usual community response.
This year we were a bit concerned that COVID was going to interrupt us, but between all the rules and regulations we've managed to run a very successful campaign.
Those concerns soon disappeared as the donations poured into the food bank, with the items more welcomed following a recent break-in at the storehouse. Hesselwood says it was the most volunteers she has seen on the night. In Oamaru, the South Today.
It's often said a week is a long time in politics and in show business. However, apparently it's very similar to running a country pub, with new owners of the Stanley's pub at Macrae's hitting the ground running.
Moving from the Wairarapa district in the North Island to take up the lease of Stanley's pub at Macrae's, Dale Clarkson says it's a lifelong dream come true.
Actually, when I first left college, I wanted to run a pub. And as things worked out, it wasn't to be until later on in life when the opportunity came up.
Dale and her husband Danny recently took over the lease of the historic pub with no previous experience in the hospitality sector, which meant Danny Clarkson had a few doubts going into the process.
And we didn't think we would get this far, even being offered the lease on the pub, but when we were offered it changed everything for me. It was like a new lease of life.
They both left successful careers in the North Island and are pleased with the massive lifestyle change. They say the locals have been welcoming.
We started here Wednesday last week. Don't know a lot, but they're certainly educating us. We're meeting lots of locals, super friendly, loving it.
The couple wanted to be closer to their son, daughter-in-law and 3 grandchildren who moved to Macrae's from Western Australia after last year's COVID-19 lockdown. Dale says their quality of life is fantastic.
This gives us a chance now that every day my husband and I, we get up, we have breakfast with our grandchildren, we get to walk them to school before we start work. And at the end of every day they rush in the door telling us all about their day at school, and then very quickly followed by, can I have a can of Coke and some chippies please?
When the opportunity to lease the pub arose, the pair thought it was a win-win situation, and their aim is to have the pub as the heart of the community. At Macrae's, the South Today.
After the break on the South Today, we land at an aviation museum in Ashburton, and a Hare art show keeps on delivering. Hea koko ake nei.
Hi, my name's Matt and I'm the Dines Group CEO. Dines is a company that's focused on selling logistics solutions to its customers. We're passionate about selling efficiency and we've been selling efficiency for over 50 years now.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
Just plan your route a little bit, choose nice and quiet roads. In the winter it's always nice to ride north and south, that way you get the driest route and less likely to hit black ice.
MTF Finance can help you turn the key on your next vehicle with a loan made just for you. TCs and lending criteria apply.
Can't stop believing I'm the greatest.
I love saving goals and I love the support of our sponsors.
I'd like to thank all of our sponsors, including the ODT. Thanks to our sponsors, especially the ODT, we all enjoy going online and looking at all the results.
A big thank you to Platinum Recruitment for supporting us through this whole season.
Thank you to Night and Day for sponsoring us and for all my crisscross fries.
Thanks to all our sponsors, especially Night and Day. I love your crisscross chips, only if there's some left after Emily Morison's come.
Big shout out to Platinum Recruitment for helping us out this year. Thanks to all our sponsors for supporting us.
Big thanks to our sponsors, especially McDonald's Dunedin. My order of choice is a small double cheeseburger combo.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba, we're McLovin' it.
Thanks to all our sponsors, you guys are awesome. For a good afternoon, come and watch us play football.
We want you at our next game.
Can't stop believing I'm the greatest.
Get down to John's and stop your stocking. Up to 50% off plus pay it off interest free. Only at John's Furniture Warehouse, Stafford Street and online at mymatejohn.co.nz.
And my mate John.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
Members of the
Hoki mai noa. If aviation history takes your fancy, the Ashburton Aviation Museum has more volunteers in their sights, and the sky's the limit.
Members of the Ashburton Aviation Museum are calling for volunteer guides to help out at the busy airport-based facility. Museum spokesman Warren Janet says the museum needs volunteers to show people around the collection.
People come in when we're open, we greet them, sign them in, then we take them around and show them all the various aircraft.
An aviation interest would be helpful but not necessary, as full training would be given. Museum members are interested in getting as many volunteers as possible to come in, buzz the tower, and cover different times during the week.
So it is a great place for people to belong to, and it's not just the retired people, anyone who's interested.
He says it's a great community for weekly meetups, coffee and functions throughout the year. Due to changes in circumstances, there were just a handful of current volunteer guides left at the museum, with some members currently filling in until more were available.
You'd be more than welcome to come along and help us, and in return I'm sure you would get a lot of benefit for yourself.
Anyone interested can contact Warren Janet via the Aviation Museum. In Ashburton, the South Today.
Each year, members of the community come together at Harriet's School and host a craft week where pupils take part in fun activities and learn skills. It's the 7th year the event has been held, and organisers say many kids keep coming back for more.
Recycling is a big part of the 7th annual Harriet Art and Craft Week.
They all learn new skills all the time, mainly to do with recycling, so they can find something to do at home in their spare time.
Those taking part make everything from bubble cake to advent chains and even clocks. Organiser Gloria McCutcheon says she and the volunteers are always happy to keep coming back, as both adults and children reap rewards from it.
Many benefits for both sides. Benefits for the children, meeting and greeting adults, speaking to adults, getting to know more people in the community, and for the people that come in, they just love getting to know the children.
She says the younger and older people taking part can form lasting friendships and often say g'day when they see each other in the town.
From now on, whenever they meet them in the street, the children will call out, "Hello, Mrs. Leitz," or "Hello, Mrs. Glennie, we know you." We find it helps the children to actually have a conversation with people.
The event is held in the lead up to Christmas, which can mean those taking part will be able to give homemade gifts to loved ones. In Gore, the South Today.
And now recapping tonight's top stories on the South Today. The man who allegedly stabbed a handful of people in Countdown in May has pleaded guilty and his name suppression has lapsed. Southern District Health Board is pleased to have 90% of the district vaccinated against COVID-19, but says there's more work to do. And the second Dunedin organised charter flight to Australia left from Christchurch today, full of happy travellers. And now for a look at what's happening in tomorrow's ODT, we welcome Deputy Editor Craig Page. Kia ora, Craig.
Good evening. Been a busy news day today, lots happening out there. A big story out of Whittaker with confirmation that the $280 million Silver Lake film studios have been granted consent. They applied for a quicker consent through their COVID-19 restrictions policy and managed to get it, so they've been basically given the green light to go ahead there. It's going to include a film, school, screening theatre, exhibition theatre and up to 10 sound stages there. So yeah, big development. They've also put in consent which will be considered next year for some accommodation on site as well. So yeah, it's big news for up there. We talked to lots of I guess involved in the film industry, but also local councils and various community boards about what it's going to mean for the town as well. So yeah, things are on the up there. We've got more on the Countdown stabbing as well, of course. Luke Lambert today appearing via video link from Invercargill, pleading guilty to 4 manslaughter charges. Lots of detail in court about what actually took place in the supermarket on that day in May. And some of it's pretty harrowing as well. So we'll have a lot of that in the paper as well. But good news, I guess, for those involved that they don't have to go through a court process now, that they can actually hopefully move on. So he was given a first strike warning and will be sentenced in May. So, and in the sport, Ashes cricket series, the cricket tragics out there, it's underway between England and Australia today, and not a great start for England. I think they're about 140 for 8 not so long ago, so it might be a long series for them. We'll have a full wrap of that in our paper tomorrow. We're also looking to the Masters Games in Dunedin, which are being held in February next year, and we catch up with who's probably the youngest competitor. She's only 22, Ruby Heath. She's eligible to compete in the swimming category, which has a minimum age of 20, which is interesting. She's using it as preparation to try and qualify for the Beijing Olympics in open water swim. So yeah, it'd be good to see how she goes.
Great, Craig. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
And time now for a look at the weather.
Tonight's weather proudly brought to you by Mole Map.
Starting with today's southern view, taking of blue skies over Wakari. Looking at the situation, a period of light winds and only weak weather systems washing over the region through the weekend. Expect some sunny periods and some cloud, but little, if any, rain. But tomorrow's a different story, especially for the north of the island. It's wet in both Westport and Greymouth on 18 and 19 degrees. And even thunders imminent in the northeast, Nelson and Blenheim on 22 and 23. Down the Canterbury coast, some showers in Kaikoura as well on 19 degrees. Only partial cloud with the sun peeking through in Christchurch and Ashburton, though 21 and 22 degrees. Heading down south now, moderate westerlies with some risk of showers everywhere on 18 degrees. Westerly to southwesterly winds over the central, with Tiano risking showers too on 17 degrees. Just cloud for the other centres between 19 and 21. Variable winds as we head further north. Light westerlies on the coast are accompanied by spots of cloud on 21 degrees. Slightly warmer inland on 23 and 24. The cloud increases as winds tend northerly. In Dunedin tonight, it's cloudy with an overnight low of 12. That only thickens tomorrow as early northwesterlies turn to southwesterlies, bringing scattered light winds, a high of 20 and a low of 10. A dry but overcast day on Friday with northeasterlies developing, a high of 16 and a low of 10. And in Invercargill tonight, clouds increase and showers develop with an overnight low of 11. Tomorrow, early showers and fresh northwesterlies gradually clear before southwest winds develop, a high of 18 and a low of 9. And it's fine on Friday with sunny periods, some light cloud and light westerly winds, a high of 17 and a low of 9 degrees. And that's the news this Wednesday. For the latest news from the southern region, head online to odt.co.nz, and you can follow Channel 39 on Facebook and YouTube to catch our news bulletins on demand. Nō reira, kia pai te pō, ka kite anō.
This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Public interest journalism funded through New Zealand On Air.